Me reviewing this movie is a canon event. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse was released this past month in 2023, and it was directed by Joaquin Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson, and it stars Shameik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Jake Johnson, Oscar Isaac, Daniel Kaluuya, Issa Rae, and Karan Soni. And yeah, this is a little late, but I was busy with DC shit. But that's done, so I can finally catch up on some videos I want to talk about, new releases. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this one, starting off with the good. And I mean, what can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said by just about everybody on the internet? None of my thoughts are going to be original because I'm just going to be sitting here praising this movie for a while. First of all, great character work from everybody. First, you got Miles Morales, voiced by Shameik Moore, and I just really love the way Shameik Moore voices this character. I really love the emotion that he puts into his voice work with this character. I also really love Miles's arc in this movie, learning to be his own person. That's really great, and Shameik Moore just really sold that. Then you have Gwen Stacy, voiced by Haley Steinfeld. And honestly, Gwen Stacy is probably my favorite character within the Spiderverse movies. As much as I love Nick Cage as Noir in the last movie, and a lot of other characters in this movie, Gwen is just probably my favorite. This is as much of a Gwen Stacy movie as it is a Miles Morales movie. She gets just as much of an arc as Miles does in this movie, and her arc is really great as well, learning to find friends and people to work with, trying to find somewhere where she belongs. Haley Steinfeld just really sells that. You have Jake Johnson back as well as Peter B. Parker, and this is probably my favorite version of Peter Parker. As much nostalgia as I have for Tobey Maguire, and he will always be my favorite live-action Peter, but this is probably my favorite written Peter Parker across any media, because he, just from seeing where he was at in Into the Spider-Verse to where he's at now in this movie, it's just really great to see him grow as a character and be a much happier person, having a kid, reconnecting with MJ. Just really great stuff, and he doesn't really come in until around the halfway point, but Jake Johnson still just does a great job. And there's actually a twist with his character where he knows he screwed up and he wants to make something right, and by the end of the movie we get a setup for that, which is definitely going to be paid off in the next movie. I just really love Peter B. Parker. One of the new characters in this movie, you have Karan Soni as Spiderman India, and he's only got like one segment in this movie, but he does a really great job. I really loved him as Dopinder in the Deadpool movies, and I'm really glad he's coming back for a third one. And I really loved him as Spiderman India here. He's funny, he's witty, just like Spider-Man's supposed to be, and I really love his banter with Miles and Gwen. There's some just really funny lines between him and Miles, just really great. And then you have Issa Rae as Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, and she doesn't really do a whole bunch outside of the opening in this movie, but yeah, she still had a really good character, and Issa Rae did really great in her voice acting here. I've always found Issa Rae to be a very underrated actress. I've always found her funny, so just really nice to have her in a role like this, in a big movie like this. Really loved her here. And Oscar Isaac is here as Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, and he's really great here as well. Oscar Isaac is honestly one of my favorite modern day actors. I loved him in the entire sequel trilogy for Star Wars. I really loved him in Moon Knight as Moon Knight, all three personalities, even though the third one's not introduced until the very end of the last episode. I really loved him there, and he was absolutely amazing here. He was menacing. He was very, he's got that very dry wit about him. And I really love the way he portrays Miguel's attitude with having really no humor to him at all. But if you put yourself in Miguel's shoes, you'd have the same attitude too. Working with almost 1 million people who all think that they're funny, yeah, you'd probably be kind of an asshole as well. I would, at least. Yeah, I just really loved Oscar Isaac. And finally, my favorite new Spider person is Daniel Kaluuya in this movie as Hobie Brown, or Spider-Punk. Oh man, this character was amazing. Just like Spiderman India, he only has a short segment in this movie, but it's such a small segment and a great character arc in just a limited amount of screen time that Daniel Kaluuya just absolutely kills it in this movie. I really, really loved him here. I've always loved Daniel Kaluuya. He's always been one of my favorite actors, and I'm really excited that they finally confirmed at the end of this movie that he will be back for the next movie. Just really, really great. I will get to the ending in a little bit, but I really love Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk. And you also have a bunch of other characters outside of the Spider people. First, you have Jeff Morales and Rio Morales. Really great characters. Miles' parents, Brian Tyree Henry and Lauren Velez. They just really bring it with their performances. And I'm really excited to see how they pay off some things that they set up in this movie with those characters. And then you have the main villain of this movie, and that is the Spot, voiced by Jason Schwartzman. And I was very shocked with how seriously they took this character, because the Spot's always been, to me, kind of a joke villain. Like Polka Dot Man in DC Comics, he's just kind of existed to be the butt of a bunch of jokes. So when I heard that they were going to make him the main villain in this movie, and judging by the trailers, I thought, okay, so he's going to be the starter villain, which leads into Miguel O'Hara being the main villain in the final act. And kind of, but he starts out as a joke villain like the Spot usually is. But by the end of this movie, they made him a complete menace. They took a joke villain and made him a complete menace, an actual threat. And I'm so excited to see how it pays off in the next movie with his rivalry with Miles. All because Miles was mean to him in the opening. And this is the only good, unironically, the only good people said mean things to me, so now I'm a bad guy motivation. This is the only good version of that motivation now. I'm sorry. Every character that's had that motivation before, throwing them out the window, this is the only good one now, because Jason Schwartzman just sold it perfectly. And yes, the antagonistic area with Miguel O'Hara and his followers as well, that was done very well. But I'm still really excited to see where they go with the Spot in the next movie. And outside of the characters, the story here is just fantastic. Like I said, just great character arcs for everybody all around in the story, with all the multiverse hopping and how every character has their own unique animation style in their own unique universes. And this is something that I've just never seen done with animation before, where they just take every type of animation you can think of and they throw it in there, and it all works and mixes beautifully. I mean, you even have a couple live action sequences. You have a Lego sequence. This is just an amazing way that they utilize the animation. And this movie just proves further that animation is some of the best storytelling mediums within modern day cinema. Hopefully the next movie is a claymation sequence. That would be pretty fun. And obviously, you get some really, really great cameos. You get a cameo from the PS4 Spider-Man. You get a cameo from Spectacular Spider-Man. Still no 90s Spider-Man, but I'm waiting for it in the next movie. You get a cameo from Donald Glover as the Prowler. I mean, that's an Easter egg within an Easter egg, because Donald Glover was the original inspiration for Miles. Then he voiced Miles in a animated series, I believe. Then he played Aaron Davis in Spider-Man Homecoming, and now it's come full circle and he's finally in the Prowler costume. It's 2 seconds long, but it's just really great to see. This really, really fun cameo. You get a lot of Easter eggs and callbacks to older Spider-Man properties as well. Really great sight gags and play on words with a lot of the characters you see in this movie. And like I said, the animation is just gorgeous with how they mix everything. And the score and soundtrack is really great as well. Now, the ending to this movie. It is a cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. You get Miles in the wrong universe. He's captured by the Prowler. And you finally see all the payoff of Gwen's arc, where she leaves Miguel's little cult, and instead of going against Miles like Miguel and his little group is going to, she assembles her own team to help Miles. She gets Peter B. Parker. She gets Penny Parker. She gets Noir. She gets Spider-Ham. And she gets India. And she gets Spider-Punk. And they are going to go help Miles. And it's just a great cliffhanger to leave off on. I'm so excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse to come out next year. I need it to be March next year already. Just, can we skip? I mean, I don't care about the rest of the releases this year. Let me skip to March next year. But this is just a really great movie. I'm not even going to include a bad section because there's nothing bad about this movie. So on to the final thoughts. Across the Spider-Verse is just absolute masterpiece. I'd probably even put it above John Wick Chapter 4, and that's been sitting at number 1 ever since it came out. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is an absolute masterpiece, a great middle chapter for this trilogy of multiverse films, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So that was my thoughts for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you have. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.